when you first come into On Trajectory and we set up your basic scenario, for example, expenses and debt, we set up basic expenses and retirement expenses, the age range being from whenever you started to R, and then from R to 90. And we do that also for the default investments. We set up period of higher growth and a period of lower growth, also with different tax situation in those two ranges. And that's, we sort of set that up so that you can get this notion of ranges. But a really good way to use ranges as you go through time and your trajectory starts getting some age on it, 1 year, 2 year, 3 or 4 years down the road, the past is very known to you, but the future, you typically want to be a little bit more conservative about your assumptions in the future. So a way to leverage ranges, and I'm going to go through one example of income, one example of expenses, and one example of accounts, is to set up multiple ranges, one for what's known and one for the unknown. So for example, your base income. Let's say I know that over the past 2 years, I did really well at work, and I earned 10% raises each year. But I don't want to assume I'm going to make 10% raises forever. By default, On Trajectory keeps up with inflation. So your 50,000, that's in today's dollars. If I looked at my output data, I'm going to see my income in today's dollars, 50, 50, 50, 50. If I switch to tomorrow's dollars, I see it going up over time. So 50,000, past 2 years, I've made 10% raise. And I'm going to put an age range in here. All right, here we go. So from 38 to 42, I'm assuming 10%. And I need to find out what that is in today's dollars so that at 43, I can enter that number in. A couple of different ways to do it. I can either go to my data and just look at the income and see it's growing. And then at 42, it's $60,000. So I can just put $60,000 in here. I mean, I probably could have figured that out 10%, but that's how you would model it. The other way to do it is just pause over this, and you can see it's actually ending at 42, 57,000, and then 43, 60,000. So that's just an example, again, modeling the known versus the unknown with salary. Another really great thing, and I do this personally in my own trajectory, is base expenses. So about every, I don't know, not very often, maybe every 4 to 6 months, I'll go in and I'll look at all of our expenses. Now I'm talking about recurring expenses. Mortgage, I'm not including that. Car payment, I'm not including that. Anything that's got a distinct beginning and end, I'm not including in my assumption. So I go in and I look at what did we actually spend. I have multiple expense ranges for my recurring expenses. I actually have several because of just different periods in my life when I was spending a lot less, when I had only 1 child instead of 2, and that sort of thing. So my base expenses look something like, let's just say they were $3,000 a month from 38 to 40, and then they went up. And so from 41 to whatever I'm currently 52, and then next year until maybe up until retirement, and then my retirement expenses. So I actually have multiple ranges because when I moved to a bigger house at 40, my expenses went up, not just because of the mortgage. The mortgage I'm modeling separately, but just everything else in life. So let's say that was $4,000 per month. So what I actually do is I actually keep track and see what my average was from, I'm not from 41 to 52, but doesn't matter. And then I adjust this, and then I make maybe conservative assumptions going forward. Again, this is the notion of my known past versus my unknown future. Another way to use ranges in that regard. The last example I'm going to talk about, like my 401k. Now, one thing I really like to do, let's say I started my 401k, I only had $2,000 when I started it. I've been contributing 15% per year, 50, and then I want to create a new range. Maybe I'm not confident I'm going to be able to continue to do 15%. I'm only going to do 10%. from 51 until retirement, and then I'm not contributing anything from retirement onward. So that's how to model different contributions for different ranges. Now that we have account linking, we calculate, let's say I assumed 4.5%. I'm assuming 4.5% in the future. I can see that I was doing better, right? So if I just pause over this, I can see I'm up 9% from what I assumed. Now, I don't want you to go in here and change your percent growth every time there's a run up in the market or a dip in the market. That's not the intention. But let's just say I started with $0. I'm doing 21% better than I thought. So I know what the past was, and I feel okay about changing this growth. So if I make this 5% or 6% or 6.5%, let's see here, 7, 8. Okay, so 8% gets me to $20,000. So even if the market did take a dip, I'm still ahead of where I can put this 8% in, and then I can say based on that I'm going to go 6% into the future. So this really handy calculated balance and tracking progress lets me dial in the past using your age range, dial in the past, and then can be more conservative about the future.